Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Hope everybody's doing okay. Today is the 25th of March 2020. Local time in South Africa is 9 minutes past 1 in the afternoon. Here's what we know so far with regards to the coronavirus. Cases worldwide 434,595. Global deaths 19,603. Global recoveries 111,853. South Africa is now ranked at number 38 in the world of top hardest hit countries globally. We have officially 709 infected citizens. We have 155 new infected citizens as of today. Recovered rate, those that have recovered, total 4, serious and critical injured 2. What else? As it stands right now, there are 12 South Africans infected per 1 million people, so that's something to bear in mind. Country's heading for a lockdown tomorrow night at 12 midnight. Please adhere to the lockdown. This is serious. This is not a joke. I'm not even playing around with it. As I've said from the beginning, the way that this virus works is you have a case, then another case, then another case. Then you have a cluster of cases, another cluster of cases, and another cluster of cases. And eventually you have an exponential explosion, which puts a lot of strain on your health care facilities. It makes it damn near impossible for your medical staff to do what needs to be done. We don't need it to get to that stage there, like in other countries where we now have to choose: do we put a 68-year-old on a ventilator, or do we put a 35-year-old on a ventilator? Guys, cut the shit. Don't worry about walking the dog and this and that, and this violates my constitutional right to freedom of movement and all the rest of it. This is a virus that doesn't care about your constitutional right. It doesn't care, straight up. So for once in your guys' lives, take your head out of your ass for 5 minutes. Stop putting pressure on, oh, this bill hasn't been passed, that bill hasn't been passed. You guys are now at a stage in South Africa where it's an exponential explosion. That means you're going to see doubling. You've already seen 120 to 155. This is what is meant by exponential growth. Forget everything else. Stay in your homes. Go out only when necessary. Make sure that you stock up on necessities for at least 5 days. Cut the shit with the shebeens and I need to have a drink, and clubs and places that serve alcohol, only stop at 6 o'clock, so I'll order at 5:58. Stop your shit. Grow up. This is serious. I'm begging you to take it seriously. If people self-isolate, social distancing, you are then mitigating the risk of infection. Depending on what percentage you choose to social distance or keep your ass in at home, that will then depend how many more infections we get. If you choose not to social distance and to be out 100% of the time, one infected person infects 340 people over a period of 14 days. If you choose to keep your ass at home and social distance for 25% of the time, that then brings the risk of infection over a 14-day period down from 350 to roughly 200. If you do it 50% of the time, it brings it down to about 100 people that are infected over 14 days. If you go 75%, you then run the risk of infecting only 1.5 people over a 14-day period. Stay home. It's not pleasant. Nobody said it was. Your options are pretty simple. Stay the fuck at home and listen and abide by the rules. Go out, get infected, infect your whole family. Dying is one part. The repercussions of living after you are cured is something else. So grow up. Listen to what the authorities are saying. Stay indoors. Practice social distancing. If you don't have to go out, don't go out. I read an article today about what do we do with our dogs, because we need to take our dogs for a walk. Well, take a look at what happened in Italy and Spain, where it was, no, you can go for a jog just as long as nobody is 5 meters around you. Look at the figures there. Look at the facts there. And then decide whether or not you think that's something that you want. As exponential growth takes place, you are going to have severe pressure being put on medical institutes. You are going to have more pressure put on our medical staff. That in turn runs the risk of them getting infected. If that happens, we are pretty much screwed. So my suggestion to you is follow this lockdown to the T for the next 21 days. You have a choice here. You can abide by it for the next 21 days. I would, personally, if it was me, I would put the whole country on lockdown for 40 days. Because the true definition of quarantine means a 40-day lockdown. But if you don't want to listen, then be prepared to have a lockdown for the next 3 to 6 months. You decide. If that happens, you can be rest assured mortuaries are going to fill up. There's going to be an exponential growth in deaths from COVID-19. Your medical facilities and your medical staff are going to be completely overrun, and then it does get to a point where when they then have to choose. Do we put a 35-year-old who has cancer on a ventilator? Do we put a 60-year or 68-year-old on a ventilator? If you wanted to get to that stage there, then by all means go ahead. Ignore the lockdown. Ask stupid questions like, can we walk our dog? Go ahead and ask those type of things. I encourage you to. You have no idea what awaits next. You have absolutely no idea. Government and all relevant stakeholders have prepared as best they could with the time that they had prior to it hitting our shores. Don't listen, fuck it up good and solid, and then complain post COVID-19 in our country. Because now is the time where government enacts and relevant stakeholders enact what they've put into place for the last 6 weeks, and then get down to the business of preparing for a life post COVID-19. Make no mistake about it, guys. Post COVID-19, everything that we knew is over. This is not an apocalyptic message or whatever the case is. It's just a sad fact of the matter. Look at your stock markets. Look at global stock markets. Look at the price of commodities. Everything's dropped. What do you think that's going to do? What do you think that's going to cause? What exactly do you think that's going to cause? The good old days of cheap goods and labor is over. Government now needs this time here to put into place what they've prepared over the last 6 or 7 weeks. They also need to now sit down and plan for life post COVID-19. And so my humble appeal to you is follow the lockdown. Don't think you're invincible. Don't think you know it all. Don't walk around without a mask and gloves. If you do have to go out, make sure that when you get back, you disinfect things. From clothes to shoes, if it's at all possible, leave the clothes, leave the shoes outside. Keep a bucket of water in a tub, preferably about 3 to 5 liters. Add 7 capfuls of bleach into that there, or whatever disinfectant you use. Put your clothes and stuff in there when you get home. Make sure that you wash your hands with soap. Don't touch your eyes, nose and mouth. When coughing, put your cough into your elbow, cover your mouth. Most importantly, social distancing works. Make sure that you go into self-isolation. If you don't have to go out, don't. If you don't have to socialize, don't. Like I said, this channel is not sponsored by or paid for by any organization in political or other. It's not paid for by any company or multinational corporation. It's just come to my attention that DSTV is going to put certain channels out so for free, so utilize that there. MTN has slashed prices on data bundles. Utilize it, stay at home, do what you need to do. Until then, be safe, and I'll speak to you guys later. Cheers.